Hello and good day, eh? Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
And I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We are here because we are on a mission to inspire other families to enjoy camping adventures such as we have with our kids. We are freshly back from our trip to Pog Lake at Algonquin Park. So we wanted to talk a little bit about our car camping experience there.
Yeah, so it's the first time I think it's Pog Lake in Kearney, but it was our first trip to that part of the park. Very cool. We stayed on site number 466 in Campground C, right beside a dam, so a bridge over the waterway beside us, like a small river to a biking path. We're at a dead end, although a great number of people didn't grasp the concept of no exit on the sign.
There was a lot of cars that drove down and went, oh, I guess I can't go here. So then backed up again.
Yeah, it was a sad statement about some people, but it was a great deal of entertainment. It's like, oh, look, here comes another one.
This is the 20th one today.
Anyhow, it was a wonderful little park. We had big site, decent amount of privacy. And there was nobody behind us. We only had somebody on one side of us, and I suppose across the road, although we only heard them the first day, second day, maybe. We had great weather, poured absolutely torrential downpour on the way up on the Monday. So we stopped in Huntsville for a very leisurely lunch to try to ride out. We were watching our weather apps to see when it was going to taper off a little bit. And we showed up at Pog Lake, absolutely perfect timing.
Yeah, it started to lighten up. And so we got to set up in kind of light sprinkling, but it wasn't raining. Like
I wouldn't even call it drizzle. It was, I'm sure I soaked by the end of it, but it was okay. It was not what we were driving up in. You couldn't see anything, man. It was brutal. Tuesday dawned. That was cool and damp on
Tuesday.
Cool and
damp, yeah. So I went for a bike ride on the bike trail Tuesday morning early. I actually woke up super early, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had the whole park to myself for like 2 hours. It was wonderful. It was so quiet and serene, and I went for a bike ride. Then I went for a walk to the beach, all by myself. But it was really great. But then the rest of the day was pretty cool and damp and overcast, and we just chilled by the fire for most.
Yeah, we actually started a fire about lunch-ish, like two in the afternoon, maybe something like that. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were absolutely gorgeous days. So weather-wise, we certainly won the lottery there, and we went out and did some stuff in the park.
We did. We went over to the logging museum, which is really cool. It's a building, but most of the museum is actually outside. So you walk on a trail to all of the exhibits, and the exhibits just walk you through the history of logging in Algonquin, together with some really cool information that neither of us knew, like that the fact that about half of the able-bodied men in Ontario would go up to the logging camp for the winter and spend the winter there, helping to log the trees.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. What a brutal lifestyle. Holy mackerel. You essentially wash your hands and your face and nothing else for 7 months.
And be in a cabin stuck with no windows in the cabin.
And 50 other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, nasty. Let's not talk about that. It's good to live in a modern society. Yeah, we did that one. We went to the visitor center as well, which is pretty cool. A lot of interactive, push a button and you get told the story, and great displays.
Like the ROM, if you've been to the ROM, except it was, a smaller scale, but all about the Algonquin Park and the wildlife, and it was cool.
Yeah, and then we
learned about brainworms.
Oh, yeah, brainworms and winter ticks, which is
also
not having a great. Is having a pretty brutal impact on the moose population in the park. Just kind of, that's one of the iconic things about Algonquin Park, except they were at an all-time high of about 4,400, something like that. And they're down about 1,500 now. So that's poopy.
That's sad.
What else did we do? Oh, the beaver
Beaver Pond Trail.
That's it.
We went for a guided hike. The park rangers are always really wonderful, the naturalists. And so they led us on a hike around. It's a 2-kilometer trail. They led us for 1 kilometer of it, just through the beaver, where the beaver has built a dam and where they're inhabiting that area. It's kind of cool to see the actual structure that they've built. And we learned some of the cool information too, like the fact that beavers instinctively will build a dam where they hear the sound of rushing water. So someone put a speaker with the sound of rushing water, and sure, lo and behold, beavers came along and built a dam around the speaker. So anyway, it was kind of cool to learn little factoids like that. There was also the fact that beavers have orange teeth in Algonquin Park, that mineral content of the water is fairly high in iron, and that the water lilies pick up the iron from the water, and then the beavers eat the water lilies, which concentrates some of the iron in the beavers, which ends up in their teeth.
Yeah, the water lilies are their favorite food, apparently.
And moose really quite like them too.
Not beavers.
Maybe humans should eat water lilies.
Wolves like beavers, though. A third of their 30% of a wolf's diet in Algonquin is beavers. That's pretty wild. We saw evidence. We saw scat of a wolf while we were there.
With quite a bit of fur.
Quite a bit of fur, and pretty fresh too. So that was interesting. Pamela was fairly disappointed that she saw literally no wildlife. She saw a frog
and a couple of grouse,
and a chipmunk, a very persistent chipmunk, and
he was a regular visitor. And a squirrel.
And a red-tailed squirrel, yeah.
And the squirrel actually would run up my leg and then run up my back. It was after whatever it was. I think I was drinking some hot chocolate at the time, and he thought that sounded
like a good
yummy
thing to share. Yeah. Pamela explored the campground more than I did. There was a small beach.
Yep. So the swimming was really good because Pog Lake is a relatively small lake. So the water temperature was really nice. It wasn't cold. It was one of those ones that you need to adjust to it first when you first get in, but it wasn't like really super cold. And the beach was nice. It was small. There wasn't, when I was there, wasn't a ton of people at the beach, and so it was easy enough to find some space, and it is a smallish beach. But anyway, it was really nice for swimming.
Just thinking about the number of people, there was a surprising number of empty sites. And now, admittedly, we're there through the week, not on the weekend. But I looked to see if we could extend our stay at either end, either go up early or stay later, just for fun, just to take a look at it. And it was a sea of red. We could have booked, I think. So we went Monday to Friday. And we could have booked for the Sunday beforehand. We could have booked the site across the road from us. I'm guessing 465. No, I want to say 461. I'm not positive. And that was it. There was nothing else certainly in that campground, in Campground C. There's nothing else available, but there was a whack empty sites. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if they were saving them or people booked them and then, did their trip, they were playing the game, book 5 months plus the 23 days, or I don't know what that was all about. It was kind of strange. Made for a nice quiet park though, other than, maybe a RV running a generator to recharge his batteries, starting at noon and going until 8 o'clock at night, outside. Not that was an issue for me, right? Everybody gets to get out and get some time out there. There was no goose this time, which was nice. There was a fellow that was playing guitar. That was a nice listen to as well. Yeah. It was good. It was nice. It's a nice campground. Busy would not be a word I would use. So that was wonderful.
We were super missing our kids. It was just the two of us. We were like empty nesters for the week.
Weird.
It was very strange. Every time a family biked by, because a lot of them did bike by on their way to the bike trail, we'd hear the little voices,
the Minnie Mouse voices, yeah,
and then be like, "Oh, we have no kids with us."
It's like the first time in 20 years.
Yes,
yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Let's see, vault toilets. They were just fine. Comfort station was good and clean. Didn't, again, because of the empty sites, I assume, but it wasn't crazy busy. There was no lineup. I went up and walked right into an empty shower. No problem at all. Yeah, no problem. Brush your teeth. They had they don't always, so I can't speak for the ladies' side, but on the men's side, for sake of argument, there's 3 sinks. They're often just cold water, just whatever, is running through the pipes in the ground. This one, sometimes they do. This was a nice one where they had one that was a timed, you push a button and it would run for X amount of seconds, but it was warm water. So I even shaved halfway through the week, which is relatively unheard of. I usually can't be bothered, but yeah.
Well, and our site was right on the Madawaska River. So that's where the dam that Tim mentioned was going over the Madawaska River. So a couple of people nearby us took their canoe down and launched their canoe into the Madawaska and went off for a bit of a paddle one day that we were there too, which would be an awesome idea.
Yep.
So we were right next to the Madawaska River, and then you could walk to the kind of far end of from where we were to get to the beach on Pog Lake. So there was a lake on one side and there was Madawaska River on the other. It was pretty nice.
Yeah. And as far as other amenities, we didn't have to check in at the front office. So we just had to carry our reservation with us. So I don't think we noticed the lack of like a store or anything like that. You could buy wood, but I think that was pretty much it. Like I didn't see anything up there.
There was a park store at the gates at
Right.
the east gate. It was teeny, like there was hardly anything. They didn't even have fire starters there. There is a Lake of Two Rivers store, which is sort of about midway through the park, also right off Highway 60. And we didn't go in. It was pretty busy looking when we did drive by on our way home on Friday.
We did manage to go into 3 outfitters on the trip. I don't have issues.
We had to hit them all.
We hit Algonquin Outfitters. What road is that on now?
That's off Highway 62.
It's on Highway 60. It's closer to the West Gate. Anyhow, it's a fantastic place. Check out my Google review. It was awesome. I picked up a new Kevin Callan book. I don't even know what the heck else that came out of there with. Some paracord.
Some tape.
Oh, tenacious tape, which was great. So I knew it was a tape. I couldn't come up with the tenacious part. I went and looked around. I found some patching kits. I found some odds and sods of tape. I couldn't find the tenacious tape. And I went back down to the front, asked one of the young ladies, and even she went through everything in order to find it because I didn't have anything to offer to her other than it's tape. It's for repairing like tents and canoes and stuff like that. And she found it. So I was like, yay, that's great. That's the stuff that I wanted. What else do we do? Oh, we did Opiongo Outfitters in just outside of Whitney, I guess. And by outside, I mean like a minute outside of Whitney, which is just beyond the East Gate. It was okay. Yeah, mostly clothes and merchandise sort of stuff. There was some outfitting gear, but not a ton. I will say just for aesthetics, all the canoes, the rental canoes, which I think are all Swift canoes at Algonquin Outfitters, are all relatively spanky new. I mean, I doubt any of them have more than a year on them. I would say max 2, but they're all shiny and stuff. I don't think it affects the seaworthiness of it, but Opiongo ones were beater looking things. They were scratched all up and they were definitely used. Although I suppose, I don't know. If I was sitting in a shiny one, I would try hard to not scratch it. If I was sitting in a scratch to death one, I don't think I'd care. So just saying. Yeah, Whitney was a little blink and you missed it.
There's not much to speak of. There's a grocery store, which is pretty tiny. Not a lot of selection of things. There's a small LCBO.
Yeah, there was a little
post office.
Craft place. Yes, there's tiny post office, a little craft place. I think that was it.
Yeah,
it was itty bitty. At the Opiongo Outfitters, there was a chip truck. Good chips. That was yummy. And we picked up a couple of bags of wood that burned about the same as park wood. So I ain't got nothing to say.
A little bit of sizzle to the wood.
And then yeah, we stopped at Huntsville on our way back again for another bite. Went to a different place. That was a bit of a thing, a little strange, but it was good food when we finally did get it. And then went to the Algonquin Outfitters there. Had a wonderful chat with a fellow that used to live in Toronto. I think he's just a greeter. Like I honestly don't know what his job was there, but we yacked about camping and canoeing and stuff. And I have a thing about doing that. So it was perfect.
Tim found a kindred spirit.
It was wonderful. So all in all, I mean, you kind of can't go wrong in Algonquin. There's different, a million years ago, I went to Rock Lake, a wonderful campground, literally no trees. So essentially zero privacy between sites other than the size of them, so that they're not right on top of you. There was way more trees at Pog Lake. Still, you're in Algonquin. You're camping. There's no moose in the middle of the summer.
They don't like the hot weather, apparently. They're more of a cold weather animal.
Yeah. So they're in where they can be in lakes and stuff all the time.
And cool off. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
That's it. That's it for us for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please do connect with us on all the social media, and you can visit our website at supergoodcamping.com. You can email us at hi@supergoodcamping.com, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.